Hi guys, hi, welcome to episode 3 of the University Experience series. This is the last episode, and that's why it's so lengthy because we just shared so much. You're gonna learn everything you need to know about studying abroad, literally everything. The challenges, the ups and downs, the most amazing parts, traveling, everything you need to know is all in here. I hope you enjoy. Please take your time to watch the video. Pause, continue later. Just make sure you watch the whole 50 minutes. Wow, 50 minutes. You're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy it. I hope you really do enjoy it though. Please like this video, comment, share with your friends. Share with your friends. Share with as many people. Please enjoy.
Yeah, I'm amazing. I be out there, guess what? Allocation. Link up with my dogs and switch locations.
Привет, ребята! Добро пожаловать на этот канал.
Сегодня мы будем изучать русский язык.
Мы ваши учителя, я Соня.
Лесега.
Hi guys, my name is Sonia Joseph. I'm a graduate in geodesy and remote sensing. I was studying in Moscow State University of Geodesy and Cartography in Russia, in Moscow, Russia.
And my name is Lesero Kenaope. And I study in Moscow, Russia. University is Moscow State Pedagogical University. And I study physiotherapy. I wanted to learn a different language, so either Chinese or Mandarin actually, or Russian. But I felt like I knew a few people who knew how to speak Mandarin, so I wanted to experience Russian, and I wanted to know how that culture, and just see if everything that we see in TV is actually,
What's going on there
in real life. So, yeah, it's not exactly the same, eh? A lot of stuff which are different. Yeah, the education there is way advanced. Yeah. And then, yeah,
in our country.
That's
what you're trying to say. Okay, yeah, do that I agree with, because that's one of the things that I was taking into consideration when choosing where to study. I was in the Top Achievers Scholarship Program, and I was to do A levels before given the option to choose which country I'd like to go to and which university I'd like to study in. So my thing was, I really didn't feel like going back to high school. I felt like A levels is high school all over again. I was like, I don't really want to do this. I didn't want to study in Botswana. So I was like, oh, here's an opportunity. I applied and yeah, took it from there. I was like, this would be a new experience, something different. Like you're saying, like cultural things different, and technology-wise, education level, all those things. So yeah.
It's a bilateral scholarship. So the Botswana government deals with our allowance, plane ticket to and back during the beginning and the end of the whole
duration of study.
Yeah, and the Russian government deals with
tuition fees. So basically the Russian government is covering the tuition aspect of your university life there, and the Botswana government is taking care of your welfare. Everything to do with monthly allowance and traveling arrangements for the first time you go and the last time when you return after completing your studies, or for whatever reason that you have to cancel your duration there and come back for good. So yeah.
I found the link and the information about applying for the scholarship in the DTF page on Facebook. So that's where I gathered everything and then applied. This was like, I actually had already gathered the stuff because I knew like the previous year when it was like, hey, Russia, we're learning everything, is awesome. But
we'll get there.
It's not as awesome.
Okay, well, I saw a notice. I can't remember where exactly I saw it, but it was like a save and gam from DTF. Something probably similar to what he saw on the DTF page. They just listed down a couple of courses that will be offered, how many slots are available under each course, and the duration of that course, and eligible students were encouraged to apply. So it was minimum 46 points. I don't know if it was the same when we applied.
Yeah.
Was it 46?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 46.
Yeah, I think minimum was 46 points.
Yeah.
And minimum for engineering subjects, I think it was like a B or C for math in your sciences, as well as English.
They also asked about other things that you did.
Yeah, like extracurricular activities also matter.
Yeah.
And also like community work as well. Like if you get involved in your community, like it's sort of just sell yourself to someone. Basically, if I ask you to sell yourself to me, what do you do? What makes you different from the previous person who applied just now, or something like that? So yeah. Where to start?
It's what again.
Next thing I found out that the school that was written on my forms was a school I was supposed to go to for first year of my studies, not for the year for preparatory language learning. So I was supposed to go to a different university to go study Russian there for 1 year before continuing to go to geodesy. And I had no idea about that part. So now we have to look for this other university that I don't even know. Mind you, I don't even speak Russian at this time. But luckily, I had senior Botswana students there who assisted me, and I was able to go there. Done with that part. I get to the school. The hostel is a mess, guys. When I say a mess, I don't know if you guys can imagine what I'm talking about. Like, it looked like nobody had stayed in that room for years. It was so dirty, it was tattered, the bed, everything. I was like, I'm not sleeping here. I actually even wanted to come back. I was like, you know what, I'm getting on a flight back to Botswana. If this is what I have to come deal with, I cannot. But it was all of that, and like the whole cultural difference thing, also the language barrier. I was the only English-speaking African there at that time when I arrived. The other Africans were there speaking French or Spanish. I don't speak either one of those languages. The other people are speaking Russian, and I'm like, what must happen? But yeah, we thrived, we continued. You can tell your part. I have so many stories to tell, but like, this is all to say, it wasn't easy. You know, you leave here with a certain expectation, and you arrive there and it's not all glamorous as you would have presumed it to be.
Hey, no. Well, I don't know. No, let me speak for myself. One of the students, Bakambu Dali, and Bongani, that guy was there to, you know, make sure that we smoothly transition into this whole, you know, like getting money, cash, like changing from dollars to Russian rubles, and getting on taxis and going to our respective universities. Alright. So they helped a lot with that, and when we got to my university, so we went to my hostel, you see. So we get there, and it's not as, you know, as nice as I expected, you know. I mean, it's
Russia, for crying out loud. It's a first world country.
Yeah, woman. So I'm like, okay, this is a bit basic, but anyway, it's alright. So now we go to my room. Well, what was supposed to be my room. We sort of, like she said, it's like people, it's like
no one was living there.
Yeah, woman. I think commandant.
Commandant.
So she's like, yeah, so this is your room, and you'll be living with this guy, Mohammed, from Chad. So I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. Oh, a fellow black person, you know, from Africa, you know, we can speak some African. So Brian think he only knows French and
Arabic.
Yeah. Full stop. Let's risk in a hali chuchu. Yeah, no, he. So I'm like, okay, no, it's fine. So, you know, she's showing me the bathroom. This thing is selling, salating now for decades.
It's like they don't even renovate the places. The
Kuro,
hostels.
it's the experiments on YouTube. So it's on cook, and say this. Oh, no, to cook in now for a long city things. It's a key. Look, cookie, buddy. It's a key. So, yeah, no, the worst part. Oh my goodness, cockroaches. Cockroaches everywhere. It's what everywhere. You can't get like so you tell like I'm a Chinese. Well, we don't get big.
Actually, you don't think of these kind of things. I don't expect to go find cockroaches and rats or whatever when I get to a room and I'm being told I'm going to like a first or second study. I
got it. I don't want to. Focus and I got it. My feet.
So I hear you guys mentioned you had to learn Russian for a whole year before starting your course.
Yes. Our language of instruction is Russian, which means we're studying in Russian. Our textbooks are in Russian. Everything, even the softwares that we use are in Russian. Basically everything is in Russian. You're not going to come across English at any point. So you're going to need to learn Russian for a year. Obviously, you can't learn a language fully in a year. The year thing is just to get you to be able to cope. You're going to continue learning throughout your 5-year period there or 7 years there or 10 years there or whatever the case may be for you. But that whole 1 year period is just for you to learn a bit in order to be able to cope. You can go to the shops and now be able to converse with the people and tell them what you're looking for. And also, when you're in class, you're not completely clueless. You're not going to just leave the lecture room not knowing anything that was said. At least you can pick up 1, 2, 3 words here and there. The rest you'll have to translate after the class, but it's basically to make your life easier.
But it's not impossible though.
It's not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just like it's not that easy either. You understand?
Yes. I remember you. He. Woman. Go down the sister. I remember. At home. I'm not reading. Go, they just throw you in the water and when you have to swim. But you will swim. Woman, you will swim eventually. Woman, also
thing is,
you get home, you need to how feel it do extra, do more. Woman, who and try more. And if you have Russian friends,
and I feel like you learn Russian outside the class more than what you're going to learn in the class.
Exactly.
So you have to like go the extra mile and not just say because you're learning in class for a year, you enclose yourself to that basic information that you're given and you don't try to do anything else. That way you're not going to learn anything. Just like in every other thing in life, we're not just taught what is in textbooks in high school and then we end there. You understand? You need to learn life outside the classroom as well.
That's something that I wish someone told me because I was just like chill. But like what I do with it when I got bad puzzles.
True. And you just assume that you know.
That's bad. You need to learn by yourself as well.
Yeah.
When I was going to Russia, I was excited. I won't lie. I was excited. Some people were crying. I was like, nigga, chill.
I'm going to Russia.
I even remember how first people were sitting by the window. So you feel okay, I'm like, okay, Russia. I heard what racism, what. And I get saying, I'm hard to send, think I hard to feel, so yeah, I'm like, hello, what are they racism? But that was the last time I ever encountered racism. That was the last time. So, these people actually love to see us. They're so excited. So anyway, eventually the excitement it started to get real. And then then tears start coming and all, being homesick, so it was really hard. It was really hard.
But I feel like you should appreciate that they were not there because it kind of forced you to grow up.
Exactly.
I feel like that's one thing that I really love about Russia. It toughened me up so much. I was one of those people that you call a crybaby. I've grown up so babied I left here when I was 18, and I was like, what am I gonna do on my own? I'm 18. I remember I was one of the people who were crying so much at the airport. Guys, I cried. The first day I left, I cried so much. I was like, God, where am I going? What am I gonna do? I'm leaving my sisters, I'm leaving my mom, my family, my friends, everything that I know. You understand? Good, you're taken from everything that you've always known, and you're thrown to something completely different. Also, another thing, like what he mentioned, you live here with a certain perspective of how Russians are. You see them on movies as these racist, mafia kind of people. Some are, I'm not gonna lie, but some are also very nice. Like, I met a few racist people, but I met a couple more of very nice people and very honest people, you know? So there was that difference as well. And then another thing, Russians don't just go around greeting each other for no reason. And they don't just smile for no reason. I remember one of them once asked me, why are you always smiling? Like, why are you always happy? What's wrong? Like, and I was like, what do you mean? She's like, every time you say hi to us, you're like, hi. And it's just, for them it was a surprising thing. Why is this girl always smiling? What are you smiling about? You know? And for me it was weird because I'm like, I'm happy to see you, so I'm gonna greet you with a smile on my face. And it's not that they don't like you or they have a problem with you. It's just not their culture. So you find those kind of things, like cultural difference. And then also some of them are very, I'm sorry to use this word, but ignorant. They don't know much about Africa or what happens this side. There was the teacher who was, the lecture, what are you called? Bonebao. My teacher in Patfak, in the preparatory language, whatever, first year. There was a time she asked me if we have a TV. I don't know what we were talking about, but it was an informatica game as well. Computer science, technology, something. Yeah, like we were doing this course. There was a module we had. It was like computer science or something. She's asking me if we have laptops and TVs this side, like if I know what that is. And I was looking at her like, this woman, of course we have laptops and TVs. Like, how do you even think I got here? Like, some questions that ask you and you would wonder how to respond to them. Or an Uber driver, you'd have one that asks you, oh, so where are you from? Like, I'm from Botswana. Botswana, where's that? And I'm like, I used to describe South Africa. I'd be like, you know where South Africa is? Up on the African map. That's where Botswana is, just directly above South Africa. Because some of them had no clue whatsoever. In fact, most of them had no clue what Botswana is or where it is. Some thought it was like an island or whatever. And some had never seen a light-skinned African who's not mixed. So they'd ask me, is one of your parents Russian and the other one is African? I'm like, no, both my parents are African. They're like, why are you light? How do I answer that? How are you gonna ask me why I look the way I look? I don't know. I was born this way. So you meet such kind of culture things. Or a child, you see a child in the metro and they're staring at you. You said, this child has probably never seen somebody who looks like you before. So I never took offense when it was kids because I felt like kids don't know any better. We teach them what they know, you know? So if you've never taught your child that they're different people, you're gonna see somebody who looks darker than you, but they're normal, then I don't expect the child to know that. So if they're going to be looking at me funny or whatever, I just brush it off. But if you're an adult and you're still that ignorant, in this day and age, I'm not gonna tolerate that. I'm not gonna have you give me some side eye or whatever. So you have to learn to toughen up to such kind of things. Because sometimes you want to sit in a bus or in the train, and you can see this person they're not gonna shift or scoot over so you can sit there just because you're black. You know, so you need to learn how to also deal with these kind of things. And I don't think we're emotionally prepared for such instances when we leave the country. You know, so yeah.
You take this.
Okay, I think the first one for me would be the first thing is that there's so much happening when you're in varsity. There's so much growth that is not just education based or whatever that you're going through. It's kind of like you have to transition from being a child to now being a young adult, and also transition from how school or education was in high school to how it is in varsity. In university, nobody's pushing you to be in class, do this, do that. The way we had our teachers always scolding us for not doing homework or scolding us for being absent and stuff. In university, it's up to you, darling. You have to do what you have to do in order to succeed. So you have to now grow up. You're forced to understand what you need to do and how you need to do it and when you need to do it. Your own schedule, you set that up for yourself. And you need to now be disciplined enough to follow what you're setting for yourself in order to succeed at the end of the day. So I feel like that's the first challenge that I faced. And the next one was obviously the language barrier. The fact that I learned the language for a year prior to commencing my studies, it didn't mean that everything was not going to be smooth sailing and easy. I remember I would be in a lesson, a whole hour, 30 minutes, whatever lesson, and I'd have heard hi and bye. This part in between is just terminologies I've never come across. So you can imagine now I have to go translate a whole entire lecture so that I can comprehend what was even being talked about that day in school. So there's also that thing. And then the social aspect, you're growing up, you're now having your own space, that freedom as we call it. You need to now know how to balance that freedom with every other important thing in your life. Don't let the whole idea of I'm now free to do whatever I want, to go wherever I want, be with whoever I want, take over the main important reason as to why you're in that university. So I feel like there are quite a lot of challenging things that come to you at a go, and I have to be strong enough to deal with them individually as they come across, and in the end be able to conquer it all. So
discipline.
It's
very king. Kananga high school, hey. Now this has to change to you saying this to yourself.
Exactly.
Like she said, hi. And it's very bye ma'am, how can mix?
And you feel dumb. That's the worst. You imagine when you always knew that you're intelligent, and then you get to a place which makes you feel dumb. But it's not that you're dumb, it's that you don't understand the language that you're being instructed in.
How can I remember? I get it. So fast. So you go home. I get it. I want to bullshit. Freedom maker. So, when you do it, like it's like a McDonald's, how it's like it's a 100 being 11 series. Tag. Jana go you were 11 series. I want us to how well I was saying I'm at last. I want to improve. But I'm not also high. Oh, my no penny and English, Russian, or French, Russian, Jalo. We're not I'm going to give you the flesh and all that. Full stop. How's it be about better surprise test?
Oh, yeah, they like that.
Who's the king? How's the king? What the year from yesterday's reading? I'm sure you probably checked Hore. When you the next topic, no one already my family. You obviously checked Hore, my family, brother king, Gasarashi, when out there. Yes. Let's say the next moment. Who's the king? Oh, it's all Karamid. No man, out there, I want to poke Karameza. Is the king? How about that discipline? Discipline, and like Haiti. Kana hot and a woman. All level about happy lorry, but in the battle, and you ask them, how did you manage? Because it seems impossible. Just the first 3 months, 4 months, it seems impossible. And then you ask them, how did you manage 4 years? You're about to graduate. How did you manage this? And then everyone has their coping,
their own coping mechanism. I think on my end, like what he said is all true. Everybody copes differently. It's up to you to find what works best for you. But also one important thing, stay true to who you are and make sure that you surround yourself with people who have the same values, principles, and thoughts as you, like mindsets. Because sometimes you're gonna meet the wrong friends. They're gonna stray you in the wrong direction. And if you don't have that stand to now take your life back, or if you don't have people around you that are gonna say, child, you're losing yourself, then you have a problem. Because I'll give an example of myself. There was a point, I think I was probably in like second year or third year, I started having friends that, I'm sorry to use this term now, but were kind of useless. Because it was those friendships whereby it's like all fun and games. You guys would never talk about anything serious. You guys would never assist each other like studying or whatever. If maybe one of you has a problem, they'd never come to the other friend and be like, you know what, friend, I'm struggling with module so and so. Can you please assist me? useless basically. And luckily I had a close person to me at that time who was like, Sonia, remember who you are, remember why you're here, and remember where you want to go. These people, you met them here. From here, they're going to go to their respective countries. You're going to go back to your country. You probably never see them again. You probably never talk to them again. But imagine losing your future over something like that. So that was like a wake-up or call to me to say, child, get back on track. And it's not everybody who's fortunate enough to have that person that I had to say, you know what, get back on track. Be that person for yourself. Be that person that's going to look in the mirror and be like, child, do this and stop that, because you know yourself better than anyone. You know what's best for you better than anyone, and you're the only one who can give yourself the best at the end of the day. That was so stressful, hey? You know when you've always been like an A student all your life, and then now you have to learn that D's and E's are a thing. They are a real thing. You can actually attain such grades. For me, it was very frustrating. I don't want to lie. I remember at some point, it was probably 8 months after being there, or 6-7 months. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back home. I want to go study in English. I want to move to another country. I was having all these mixed thoughts. But somebody said to me, you know, at the end of the day, getting the highest grades while you don't understand anything also doesn't matter. It's not going to take you anywhere. The main mission is to learn and to understand. Because you can find that in future, this person who is attaining A's or A stars, but it's why they're working under somebody who is getting C's, but I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, at the end of the day, the mission is not to always have.
Apologies, guys. We're recording close to the kitchen, and
there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what was I? I forgot what I said.
No, now it's an hour when there's a course. Yeah, voila. Yeah, no. So I get no around like a hakamat. I don't know hakamat. I don't know Botswana. Okay, Marwan na to kahala hali me hey. We are king. Kuri Botswana kanti. Why is Russia such a why? We are king. One of the language barrier is we are king, guys. That is, it's hard, but it's possible. Yeah, no. When our predecessors Babu no, we are king. Dude, we struggle the same way.
It kind of motivates you.
It motivates you.
Yeah, like,
the same person when you know we struggle this way okay. So what are you saying? So I just need to struggle just a bit more and I'll get there. I'm like, yeah. Try this. If it doesn't work out, hey, Tata. You know, but also don't rely on anyone. Just like I balance me ask for help.
All right. So now let's talk about finances. Apparently, your allowance is.
Not all that. Okay, no, but Speedy, for Moscow, I feel like it's okay. I feel like what the government needs to do, like let me say the embassy, because clearly it's in charge, embassy, DTF, they need to assess how they give allowance to who, where, and stuff like that. Because right now, this allowance is probably the same as it was 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Things are changing, life is changing. I'm going to use example what we can relate to because we're in Russia. After the World Cup, prices went up and they were never taken down. Like obviously they increased prices in order to maximize because there were tourists coming for the World Cup and stuff. And it was never changed after that. You'd find that there's a student who's living in Moscow and the student who's living in a very small town. I'm not going to use any names. But a very small village, something of that sort, where they afford, on the same allowance that we get, they afford to have an apartment, to save, to travel, to do everything, to pay medical insurance, to pay whatever bills they have to pay, and still have access to shop and to splurge and to whatever. And then you take that same money, you go to Moscow. If a student decides that they want to get an apartment, maybe feeling like the living standards of the hostels are not up to what they would want to live in, then they want to rent an apartment, pay rent, they have to pay medical insurance, they have to pay transport, even something as simple as an Uber. In another town, you can pay 62 rubles for an Uber. In Moscow, you're going to pay 1,000 rubles for the same Uber. You get what I mean? So, there's so many differences that need to be taken into consideration. Somebody might look at the money and say it's a lot, and somebody might look at the money and say it's sufficient. I don't follow. I feel like I'm on both ends. I feel like it's a lot in some instances, and I feel like it's sufficient in some instances. One important factor is money management. I feel like a lot of us are not taught that. And get the na, for example, I'm 18 years. I'm a child who grew up not getting an allowance or stuff like that. For certain reasons, for specific reasons. So you don't ever get like a huge lump sum of money. And then before you leave, DTF pre-departure allowance. Or never a lump sum of money. I have never had before. And by the time also there's still more than half of that money on God knows what. So because Rabana that education was madi, I did so young, I better. Oh, we imagine I was done pele. He is stranded. But only he learned initially. Or if you are settling allowance. One of us can you work since go reka di pizza, go reka seko, go reka microwave, go reka ketele, go reka seke huira. And now by the for other things. Can't tell me I want to there. Miss or Rasta, I like mismanagement of funds. The funds are there, but you're mismanaging them. So one thing I would urge everyone, be it university and primary and high school, working or whatever, let's learn money management.
When pre-departure, yeah, kind of if you're some poor die, some yeah, no, or Nagana no Garu to the Heek, and a room around one or the little one has a man for you. As I already covered the Ghana snow. Yeah, I somehow some Gorata.
Is that a true story?
As some like what I MPTT, more even Namatata. Who's the king? Got a gaga and your button. MPT amount Hikagi. Pre-departure. Kenaope, Sanaga Kiwi, like a Pamela's couple. Such no. Can I say that how one?
You won't even wear it.
We saw it. Hey, how talk a hard.
And also,
stop with Jesus. Hey, stop with Get out. Get out of the video and the fencing.
Also, I think I choose you a lot.
Knowledge and I have shot and I am to the room and we saw a full force. We saw the king. We saw the king around the day. I can't read. Woman, get a the jacket. You can buy jacket Zericalo here. Call it the king. The jacket that say, one get a temperature as up. My negative 18 hours. I can get a corner terminate. A guy, jacket that one when I get up 4 degrees, negative 1, negative 2, full stop. With the king, I wasted my money. It's a no my dear short. We got there and we struggled. We couldn't buy anything.
Because settling allowance
even
you cannot die
when
or even the week. That's why you're given a lump sum of pre-departure. Good for I feel like it's done for all countries. Like I don't know ETF is sponsoring. Good so my dear, use it very well.
Even important things, very important things. Wait, do I need to pay for this visa though?
Because you don't have the money now.
Sure, I can't medical insurance, but I can't. Let's start there.
And you're not allowed to go to school without medical insurance.
You can't.
You can't.
Do results have to go born. How can I want to mix? So you see bolo akanyetsa dionyana reish mona tshwara mana ko ro fa motho madi o tenerile ka nna miss ka nna o letsa bola tlhotlhong ka dimeng boka ka nna ora e go maso ya no tsena in debt ya no re kana wena ha wa ja madi go tswa tlhama mphe ka di 1000 yela tsena mo debt eng kana that se tso sentse ya no e bile o khona itlhela ba bangwe ba simolla such debts and they will always be there like ha madi a tla ya no ke ba duela kolo as I duela khanding ya go masonyana ya no wa di maga because that chain ya no you're just stuck there you know and it takes others forever to
get out of it. Yeah. How madi a tsena, try to always have a budget beforehand and try to stick to it. Know what is important. You can splurge here and there. I'm not going to say don't spoil yourself, don't do whatever. No, obviously you have that entitlement. Come on, also go to 12 years. What's an school? Obo pasa, obo apply, obo succeed. So that you can enjoy yourself as well. You understand? I'm not trying to say go to school and be all school. No, you'll go nuts. Yeah, you can't do that. No. You should have a life as well, ne? But be smart about it. Spend your money wisely. Know what is worth being spent on, and know what you don't need to spend your money on. Honestly, some things you can do without. Even if you afford something, it doesn't mean you need it. You can afford something but not need it. Also learn how to save, because guys, life after varsity, anyway, I'll get to that.
Alcohol, spending so much money on useless things like alcohol.
Exactly.
A lot of money.
And the thing is, when alcohol is cheap, you end up spending too much on it because you're like, it's cheap. Compared to other prices. Child, if you calculate how much you've spent in a year on that alcohol, you?
Yes, so I'm going to
So this thing is quite a transition on its own. You're moving from a developing country to a developed country. So there are quite a few changes that you're going to encounter. Some might be overwhelming for others. Some might be just okay, because I mean, we watch movies and stuff, we read, we learn. So some of these things you kind of already know about them. So for example, I remember the first time I got into the metro system, the train, the underground train that you use as a mode of transport. It's a bit complex in the beginning because there's so many lines and intersections and whatever and connections that you have to make. So some of these things might become a bit overwhelming, but eventually you get used to it. I feel like it's just that whole thing of practice makes perfect. Once you keep doing something frequently and all, you get used to it and you understand it. And also, I feel like life is very convenient that side, hey? Like everything is easy. There's Wi-Fi everywhere. Internet is so cheap. I remember I paid how much was it? Like 100 bula a month. I had 500 free minutes, 500 SMSs, 12 gigabytes of internet, free unlimited use of WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. Like, there was just so much, you know? So, a lot of things are advanced, you know? And even security-wise, I feel like Moscow is one of the most secure places. You'd find us there walking home from the club or whatever, a couple, 3, 4. You know, like, the streets are just... There's the cameras everywhere and all of that. Could have a petty crime, before. It's a mess, you know. But that side, even if something of yours is stolen, it's in most cases you're gonna recover it. In most cases you're gonna recover it. Or if you lose something in a restaurant or in your Uber, you forget your phone. In most instances you're gonna find it, because you can always call back your Uber driver. You can always go back to your history of the drives that you took or whatever. I feel like a lot of things are easier, you know. Oh guys, the infrastructure is amazing. It is really... Moscow is a beautiful city. I'll talk about Moscow because I was there. I've been to a couple of other towns and cities as well. Most of them are very beautiful. I've been to other countries as well. Like, guys, I feel like y'all should travel the world, hey? Everyone in life should afford themselves or accord themselves an opportunity to travel at least once in their lifetime. Go somewhere different, go experience something different. It is so enriching, you know, and it is so educational as well. Like, you're gonna learn a lot from the different people that you're gonna. Exactly. It could even your intellect after that. It is gonna broaden because there's so much that you're gonna learn. You're gonna see other aspects of creativity that you didn't think are there, and you can develop yourself to such kind of things, you know. So entertainment, it is bomb, guys. Everything, like, good, it's nice. I won't lie. I really enjoyed my stay that side. I had fun. I did so many different kind of things, like different kinds of fun. Good, if you love sometimes here, we don't have that much fun because it's one and the same thing every single day, and we get tired of it, you know. You'd find that there you have an illusion museum, you have a water park. Like, and when I say a water park, I mean like a place with so many rides and so much to do, you understand? Not just the water there and like one slide going in there, you understand? And you have arcades, you have a huge arcade, you have amazing bowling alleys all around. One would have one here and there, one of each thing here and there, you understand? And it's not everybody that can access that. So all I'm trying to say is the entertainment is broad. Everybody's taste is covered at the end of the day. Over Tandi Club, it's a hip hop club, there's an Afrobeat club there, there's a salsa club there, you know,
house,
everything. You have everything you need. Even restaurants, all kind of cuisines that you can think of, all the restaurants are there. There's just so much going on. So it's a beautiful thing to see. Yeah.
I feel like that's what most international students should do. Don't just go there to just do your course, master it and all. How one is saying, you know, that's going to improve the country. What's what again? Find a way to bring it here. Find a way to make the country better. I don't want to
go back to Bots. There's nothing in Bots waiting for me to do. But like, you can make Bots what you want it to be. You understand? At the end of the day, what you're seeing there when you're in Europe and you now feel like Botswana lacks 1, 2, 3, why not find ways to bring that 1, 2, 3 to Botswana and develop it at the end of the day?
Exactly. Wow.
Ooh, child. Where do I start? Okay, I graduated last year. When was that? July? I think it was July. I came back to about end of June. No, I graduated in June actually, end of June. I spent about a month that side getting everything in order, and then I got back home end of July. I think it was the 31st. We grow up with this mindset that once you get a degree, that means you get a job. Once you get a job, that means you have money. Once you have money, you live happily ever after. It doesn't work like that. That is not the case at all. You find that there's so many of us on the streets right now with degrees, some with masters, no jobs, nothing. So the one thing that I feel we're not taught a lot when we grow up is don't always rely on somebody else to employ you. Learn how you can also empower yourself and employ yourself. Learn what you can do outside of that whole 9-to-5 bracket that we've been made to believe is the way to life. You get back home, it's frustrating, there are no jobs. Or you find jobs and they're underpaid. I remember I was quite, I wouldn't say depressed per se, but like I was feeling down for quite some time after I got back because I kept applying, I kept looking for posts, there was nothing. And I was like, but I did so well at school. I finished my course in due time. I have my degree with me. I have all these other qualities that make me who I am. And I feel like I'm such an asset that I could benefit. I'm thinking I could benefit somebody's company. I'm not even trying to think of how I can benefit myself because that's the mindset that we're raised to have. And then now it becomes very frustrating when things are not working out like that. So I ended up deciding I'm tired of being home. I'm tired of just staying home. And I looked for a temporary job in that time frame because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna keep looking for a job in the engineering field. But if I'm not finding it, what am I gonna do with that? Am I just gonna stay home, fold my hands, and be like, there are no jobs, there's nothing I can do? Or am I actually gonna see, is there something else that I can do apart from engineering that can actually sustain me? So I found an organization, it's like an NGO that assists lower primary students with math and literacy. So I joined that organization, and it was sort of like they gave us a stipend for assisting, because they rely on sponsors and stuff like that, so they can't afford to be paying us lump sums or anything. So for me, I felt I'm doing something to help the community, and at the same time I'm getting a little something back, you know. So I did that with my time, rather than just be home moping around saying I can't find a job in the engineering field, so now my life is doomed or my life is over and something. Right now I've found a starting ground. It's not where I want to end, but it's a stepping stone in the right direction. Now it's for me to keep learning, grow in my qualification, get some experience, and move on to better pastures. And at the end of the day, at some point, say this is where I started and this is where I am now. So one thing I'd like to say to you guys is life after varsity is not easy. Be prepared for that. Be mentally prepared that it is not easy out here. Adulting is not an easy thing. And if possible, like what video was saying, the money that you get, save as much as possible, because you don't know what the future holds. Right now, if I had that mindset while I was still in school, while I was still in varsity, I would have saved up a lot, and that money I could have now even used it to open up a business of some sort. But because I didn't have that mindset, I was just like, I'm living for the now, the present. Mm-hmm. I did not think about the future. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, only if. You know, and it's so painful to regret things that you can't change. I can't turn back the hands of time. There's nothing I can do. It's only now to learn and teach others, and then take this forward with me in life, so that in future, when I'm now 35, I'm not like, had I done this when I was 24, I wouldn't be here. Now I don't want to say that phrase ever again. So all I'd like to say to everybody, especially to those who are fresh graduates, don't give up. Just keep striving. I'm sure there's something out there for you. And also another thing, don't limit yourself to saying, right now I'm an aerial survey engineer by profession, but I'm not going to limit myself to working only as an aerial survey engineer. There's so much more there is to you, and you need to be able to explore all those aspects that there are to you, and you'll realize how much further you can go in life.
You are now working, Gary, in your field, and you're doing everything in English, but you were learning in Russian.
There's that part as well. Okay, there's that as well. Like, throughout my years of study, most of the things I would learn in Russian in class, but then I'd translate to English to comprehend when I get home. Here and there now, I come across 1, 2, 3 terminologies in English that I feel like I've never come across this word. So I'd have to actually go back and learn what is this all about, and realize, oh, we actually did this in school, but we called it this and stuff like that. So learning never stops. I'm still learning even now on the job. And another thing is, when you get to work, you find that a lot of things that you learned in school, you're gonna now have to learn how to apply them. You don't just learn and then keep it in your head. You now need to be able to be practical with what you learned. So at the same time, it's sort of training on the job. There's certain things that you're learning on the job as you go. So guys, it's cold. Dude, like that cold, you can't do anything.
Lady jacket, no,
it is cold, guys. And when we say cold, we mean really cold. And I think the worst part is it's cold most of the time. Can I say like Mr. Shapo has to for 3, 4, 5 months? Okay, sharp. But if you're gonna have 9 months of winter.
Some Botswana, Maricino, no, -1. Uga Garlabotana. Let me tell you, it's already king. What kind of heat you?
And you don't even want to touch anything that might be cold. Baton.
Me, I know, you can't experience that in Russia. Get at the walls.
The good thing about Russia is all buildings are heated. All of them have good heating systems. So we're only cold on our outside in the street. Once you enter the mall or a shop or the train or the bus or whatever, it's warm.
Yeah. It's on train with Can I use the king? Nakana to never sample. Can I wanted to travel? Can I keep story? Can I'm in Europe? Can't I check other countries?
European countries,
you know, check out Paris.
It's quite it's easier because you're closer and also it's cheaper.
Yeah, it's way more fun.
It's really affordable.
Oh, as well. Scats about boats. Scats about boats. I know about Kakale, you to Mowadi. Oh, and me hello boats a hello. How do I get there? What do I need? They will answer you. I'll answer you.
And in most cases, it's very little that you need.
There's not much that you need. So yeah, no. So you get what's a halal. It's an internet thing. You get a lot. Okay, no visa required for Botswana shop. You get better rates and now I see UK. I'm like, yeah, I'm comparing. First of all, I see someone a Caucasian person. And I'm like, privet, kak de la. Oh
shit, they don't speak
wrong
that.
Country. They don't speak this. And then when people are like, hey, hi, how are you? What's up? And I'm like, oh, okay, who you guys like, hey, no, ha. Yeah, no, I don't need to translate my Botswana to Russian. Now, let's just speak English, you know. So and then it feels nice, you know. Maybe the issue again. You want that break from Russia or just where you study, just that break to see other places.
It could be another town within Russia.
It could also be another town in your city. Hello, no, like a shop, and that's what I did. I felt going to other cities.
I'm from the capital city. What
am I gonna do that side? Hey, you would love to go to other cities. Leaving the country just as awesome. So I got to go to London and
we went to Sochi. Oh, you mean another city? I went to Dublin.
She went to Dublin. Yeah. So you can go anyway, and the money is enough for you to save. The useless stuff. And
exactly, just like 6 months you can save up for that trip.
You save and you can go anyway. Anyway, I know America's got
it's just that with America it's a bit difficult to get a visa from that side,
but you can get a visa.
You can get it. I'm not
saying
it's impossible.
You can get a visa.
And another thing we forget, we have a very good passport. The Botswana passport gets into a lot of countries visa free. You understand? So we need to use that to our advantage because it makes things easier.
So hey no,
A whole 40 minutes left.
I hope you enjoyed though. Your accumulation.
Спасибо большое за просмотр. Мы надеемся, что это будет полезно для всех вас. И поделитесь этим видео с друзьями и подпишитесь на этот канал, пожалуйста. Спасибо.
Эй, ну это было хелар. Карао того. Anyway. Hey, let's go subscribe. I have to subscribe to Gorata.
Yes.
Let's go follow me on Insta, guys.
It's Sonia_Joseph.
Doesn't matter. Malaysia.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm amazing. I be out there, guess what? Allocation. Link up with my dogs and switch locations. Bullets catch you, now you laying on the pavement. Yeah.